On today's episode of the Command Center podcast,
Yes.
I try not to lose my voice. We also talk about the bye week. How does this team stay focused, Fred?
Hey, survival.
We also preview the Saints game. Who dat?
And your quarterback.
At quarterback, exactly right. We risk it for the biscuit, and we play hell yeah.
And hell no. And I'll be your huckleberry.
It all starts right now. Welcome into the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss.
Yep,
and
yep.
guys, we have a sponsor.
Oh, love it.
Love a good sponsor, right? Yep. We are presented by Cognier Technology, secure today, shape tomorrow. And guys, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because we cannot do this show
Without them.
without sponsors.
Yes, most
indeed.
definitely.
So if you're a fan of this show,
Yeah.
you're a fan of this sponsor,
Yeah.
so make sure you go check them out.
Your December voice
It's good.
is good.
It's good.
I've
been smoking 12 packs of cigarettes
yeah,
a day.
I was say it's raspy. I like
So
it.
we all got to play hurt, Fred.
Yeah.
It's late in the season. We got to play hurt. And I'm playing hurt.
It's a difference between being injured
Yeah.
and hurt.
I got to get out there. Make it happen.
I understand.
So yeah, thank you to Cognier. Appreciate that because we love doing this show. We love bringing you guys this content. And yeah, man, got to fight through. Hopefully they got some good throat lozenges or whatever. I don't know what they do. It sounds like a technology company though.
Yeah, most definitely. It is a tech company, and if you're not going to be in this future without technology, that's just the way it goes.
Especially in this area.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right, now we got bye week recap.
You want to recap our old bye weeks?
No. That's boring.
I'm just asking.
I want to know what you guys did for your bye weeks to kind of stay locked in, rest, relax, but also stay focused.
Relaxation.
Because as we all know, it's tough being in a bye because you're like, oh, I get to relax, but
You really don't.
still got 4 games left.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. And we had that late bye in 13, right?
I believe 13, yeah. So you want to know what we did on the bye
Yeah, what'd you do?
this time around?
No,
Or back then?
Back then.
Back in them
No,
days.
back in them days.
I don't
Back
need
in them playing
I don't need to know all the parties you went to this weekend.
I'm an older guy these days. So
Yeah.
I trust me, I'm not partaking in no foolishness. But no, honestly, back in them days, it depends. You know, I remember, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 13 was like when we needed that reset. We was a little beat.
Late bye, right?
We was beat up a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't a little beat up. We was beat up a lot, and we just needed to kind of get away. I remember 12. Let me go back as early as 2012 when we had a sort of late bye too. It wasn't like as in week 14 late, but it was late compared to what we had been through. It was perfect timing, I believe, because I think when we came out of that bye, we gave that that run to the playoffs, and we all fell. You can see everybody just recharged. I mean, I remember that game out the gate against Philly at home. That was the game that a lot of people showed the highlight with me going over the guy's back. And
No big deal.
I remember.
No big deal.
It wasn't one because that was probably
he did it every Tuesday.
No big deal.
my only catch that game, I believe. Too.
If you haven't seen that catch though, make sure you go check it out on YouTube. It's one of the sickest catches you'll ever see.
Thank
Because you're not a big guy.
Yeah.
But you literally like mossed.
yeah.
His last name happened to be Moss.
Just coincidentally, mossed.
Coincidentally,
Two
yeah.
dudes, and it was literally Robert arm punting this thing.
Yeah. Just slung
it's-
it up there.
This is again nerdy. You guys are here for it's a dig concept. So there's an outside guy's got a 20-yard in, and Tana's the slot guy's got a through.
Yeah.
And the read on that is you never throw the
To the
through.
through. You always throw the
unless
dig.
it's 2-man.
Yeah.
It was not 2-man.
Yeah.
And Robert just launched that thing. So good job, Tana.
But honestly, remembering
Bobby
that play,
Three Stick.
remembering that play, Cal had just I don't know if it was earlier that week, he was like, you guys got to come out here and make a play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone needs to make a play. And that's all. It always popped back up in my head, just remembering that was the reason why I did what I did on my bye week.
Yeah.
I went away and tried and got, first time in a long time, went out of town.
Yeah.
And just kind of reset. You know what I mean? I want to see something different, put myself in a different, I guess you can say environment when it came to the weather.
Yeah.
Went to the Bahamas, came back, I was ready to go. You know what I mean? So that's what I would have done
throughout.
back then.
Yeah.
Now, what I would add to it, if I had to put myself in the shoes of the players today on our team today,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have left.
No,
I don't think I would have left. I would
Especially with a late bye.
with late by, just
Too much
knowing where we at right now with our season,
Winning.
where we're
Yeah.
trending, far as, playoff, berth and everything like that. I would like to have a chance to just kind of dive into just whatever's ailing me, whatever's bothering me, whether it's something that I haven't, did right this season throughout my game, or whether it's an injury, get on that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, relax and enjoy the family.
Well, I used to go back to my mom's house just for some not real food, but just soul food. Just like to be back in Mississippi where everything's slower, it's a lot warmer, and just to be around my family, that helped me just unplug because it felt normal. It felt like my old normal to be around them and listen to them talk trash about what happened 3 games ago, this person or this thing. And it mentally just got me back there. Just to be around my family and doing a little bit of nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I'm going back to Mississippi.
Did you train when you were on the bye week?
Yes.
No, listen,
Yes, indeed, I did.
I used to jog, but my feet hurt. All right? All right?
Even then they hurt.
Listen, them cleats are worse than high heels. All right?
Cleeks?
The cleats, they're worse than high heels.
I love a little Fred. looking up a-
So I
K
used to
on
go
him.
back and just chill, and I go back to Mississippi. I chill with my family a couple of days. I drive to the coast of Mississippi, put these feet in some hot sand, just like really do nothing.
How are the beaches in Mississippi?
They're great. By the way, go to Biloxi. Tell them Fred Smooth sent you. The casinos are great. The Boulevard is there. It's tons of stuff to do with the Mississippi beaches. We never get brought up.
It's a Gulf beach, right?
Yes, it's in the Gulf.
of Mexico.
Yeah, yes,
So
it's in
it
the Gulf.
looks pretty.
So aren't there like
It's where fresh water meets salt water, so
looks
it's a little
pretty-
bit more murkier
Yeah, I was
than
gonna say, it looks
Miami.
pretty lakeier.
Yeah.
like a ride. They're like you on a lake.
Did you say we were just on the Mississippi River surfing? Oh, I sure hope it's catfish.
Yeah, I mean, I always found going home for the bye was so nice.
Yeah.
But I also found it was a little bit hard to kind of
Bounce back mentally?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about 12 because that's what
Yeah.
you talked about. I went back to see my wife's family. They live in California.
Yeah.
Monterey, California. Beautiful.
But yeah, I would
like,
say-
oh my gosh, it was amazing. But like
Compared to
then-
Mississippi beaches.
compared to Mississippi, yeah.
Period.
Get the Pacific Ocean out there, man. But yeah, then coming back here, I was like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
What just happened?
Like I don't want to be here.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It made it harder to kind of reset. So after 2012, I remember I was like,
I'm never
let's-
going back
Let's
again.
stay around.
Local.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
stay
Because
locked in.
it's just hard to like
Yeah.
refocus.
I think too, you got to, you was much. I mean, I think 2012 was only what 2 or 3 years.
It was my third year. Yeah.
Third year, for you, myself, I'm talking about year 12,
Yeah.
year 13. So
Yo, go to the Bahamas.
I have to do something different.
Yeah.
I've been doing the whole sit down, stay locked in,
Yeah.
and it worked. But then at times when you're in those seasons where you have that, man, I need to get away. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why I say if I had to put myself in a player's shoes today, with what's trending for them, I wouldn't try to get away
No, I
too
just
far.
stay home.
You know what I mean? I just want to go in the house. And you can go down the street somewhere to a different location, but local. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I wouldn't get on no planes, though. I would have just stayed
Yeah.
somewhere where I can drive and get back. And not only that, just kept myself in tune with what's going on. I've been watching a lot of football. And I'm one of those guys anyway. I'm always locked in. I'm watching games regardless. I'm just one of those football heads. Like, I'm going to watch football regardless of whether I'm playing or not. And I think for these guys, man, that would have been good for them just to, kind of, not so reset. Because I think that momentum they went into the bye with, you want to come out of that bye with that same momentum.
Yeah, and I think I would have been just on mechanic alert. I'd have been trying to fix whatever, the shoulder, if it's the knee at the time.
Did you have someone that you went to? Because I know Tana had his like team.
Everybody.
Did
No,
you have people?
I had a couple former trainers. That guys
Oh,
that had
that were
worked
here?
here.
Oh, okay.
And then like Larry Hess, a lot of guys that I'd be like, I just call them up and be like, man, my body hurt. Can you work on me?
Yeah.
And so I'll go into mechanic mode at that time, trying to make sure I'm good. So when we do come back, the one thing you know from playing in the league, you want to finish good because you never know your coaching situation, you never know your situation. So I'd have been like, let's finish what we started. So I'd have just went into repair mode.
Yeah, and I will say one of the worst things about the bye is when you're hurt.
Yeah.
You can't leave the building.
You can't leave.
I've
You
been
got to
there.
stay here.
I've been him.
Yeah.
I know you've been there. I've been there a couple times.
my God.
You're just like, I hope I'm healthy before the bye. I'm
Yeah.
hoping, but then you're never
It's
healthy.
crazy. I got a concussion in 2012 right before the bye. And boy,
That's
talking
the
about-
worst.
And there was a game. I literally got a concussion. We played the Panthers at
Oh,
home.
that's right, yeah.
And I ran an out route, smash right on the outside line.
That's crazy. I didn't even know
I
that.
remembered it, and it's crazy. I got a concussion again, but I remember the concussion.
Yeah.
And I remember them talking about, yeah, we gonna have to keep you here. Everything fine. I ain't staying here, man. You got me all messed up.
I had to stay the year I fractured my sternum, which I can't practice. All I can do is watch film, and I play in the game every Sunday.
Yeah.
So when we got to the bye week, I was like, it ain't like y'all rehab. You know what I'm saying? Because they couldn't.
You start politicking, right? You're like,
Yeah,
let me
I'm
get it. I feel pretty good.
And then I'm not missing games.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm doing my part. Like, you can't heal me. I don't go into the training room. All right. So everything that's happening to me, it won't change if I get to go home. They're like, nah, you gotta stay here.
Speaking of being injured on the body, I wanted to share this story with you guys to tell you how bumpy my road was when I first got in the league. So remind you, my first year, tore my knee before I even played the game. I had a lateral meniscus tear, so it was not like something like ACL. But most meniscus tears, they just carve you out 4 weeks. You back.
Which is,
I opted to get mine repaired. To the advice of my agent. Shout out to Drew Rosenhaus and his brother Jason. Those guys say, Tanner, with what you do, how young you are, I would rather you get a second opinion. I went down to Miami. Uribe was my doctor at University of Miami. He told me, hey, I'm not letting you go back without surgery right now. We repairing it. We're not going to have you carved out. So we saved my cartilage. So with all that being said, the Jets was pissed off. I missed all the preseason. Then I missed 12 weeks. Came back with like at least 4 weeks left. I played, tore my quad. I mean, it was just a snowball effect.
You tore your quad?
The next week. As soon as I get off of my knee, I tear my quad out the gate.
So like a pull or you tore?
No, I still have the defect in my quad now to this day. I tore it. Like,
that's a tough injury.
Nasty. So anyway, long story short, that year, you might well scrap that year, right?
Yeah.
The next year is my second year. I start off in training camp with a hamstring tweak. It's just tweak. Now it goes to a tear. So I remember playing on a weak hamstring for like the first 3-4 weeks, and then we get a bye. I gotta stay because my hamstring is ailing me. Like and you hear the whole media. I mean, what is
New
he
York
doing?
media, yeah.
What is he? He hasn't showed up. And I stayed. I remember praying so much. I remember flying the guy in that I knew. We treated that hamstring like as if it was like, I was on my last leg of life. Like, hey, man, we're going to make sure at least when you get off this bye, this hamstring is working.
Yeah.
Get off the bye. We play Kansas City Chiefs. I scored my first NFL touchdown, bro.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was just reflecting.
Was Dale Carter out there at the time? Warfield.
So that's what I scored on, number 42, Warfield. Yeah. That's the one I scored on. But Dale Carter was still playing, too.
Yeah.
But he was in the Ravens at the time.
All right, yeah.
So just some of the things that we grow through as players and how we have to spend these buys, man, I remember being young and like almost in tears like every year, like, man, I'm hurt on
I ain't never getting home on the bye.
Oh my God, man. But that's one of them stories, man, you think about it. And when I got to that year 12, year 13, I'm like, I deserve something because I remember the bumpy start of my career. You know what I mean? I deserve to get away. Now I'm able to, have a clean bill of health and be able to play on the level that I want to play on.
No, absolutely. And like that. So this is the other question I want to ask you guys. So everyone goes away for the bye.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of like kind of saying, hey,
stay in line,
and then
stay out the streets.
Tana said this too on when we come back.
Yeah.
This is the level of focus we got to have. So there's two parts. Like, hey, we're not gonna mess up on the bye.
Yeah.
And then how do we get refocused for the bye? Who's responsible for that?
I want to mention it because I remember our tone setter. London Fletcher would always be a guy that get up and speak in front of the whole staff and the players and like, hey, listen, man, we got to have this kind of focus. You know what I mean? You guys get away, enjoy yourself, man, but at the same time, don't be out here doing these things stupid. And when we get back, man, it's go time. Yeah. I remember London sharing some of them sentiments as a player. But when you got a guy like him on your team, that dude's this right here.
Hey, for those listening, who are you pointing to right now?
We had a bunch of guys like him on our team. You name it, and I'm gonna call some names. I'm gonna be him today. We had Fred Davises, we had Fred Smoots, we had you name it. I mean, it was some guys that you might say that to these guys, but they gonna do them. But as long as when they got between them white lines, that's one of the things I loved about Coach Gibbs. And this is something that a lot of people take for granted. But Coach Gibbs said something earlier, when he came back in his second stint of coaching to us. He said, look, man, people always ask me how I did it.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to different characters, that we have on your team. Like you have guys that, he said, man, I deal with the worst. I had guys I won Super Bowls with that wouldn't show up some weeks. Yeah. But he said, one thing I've always held them to, when you come to practice, I care less what you did at home or did last night. I need you to be on the same caliber that you need to be on for us to be a successful team. So that's what, to me, always stood out. Man, I don't care how much you drunk last night. I don't care where you went last night. Because I sometimes partake in them outings. long as I come to practice and have a practice that they know that's on the caliber of me as a player, they could say less. So I do remember having guys stand up like that, like a London.
Yeah.
And then I do remember looking at some of the guys, some of the knuckleheads, like, let me see what he did this break. He better come with it, because if he don't come with it, then, he going to get chewed out.
I think the head coach also, he gives that warning.
Yeah.
Right when we played a game and we had a meeting the next day, guys, before y'all scatter to do what you got to do, remember this. Don't be this. Protect the team. Protect yourself. And understand the season not over just because you get a break. Look at it as a weekend. All right. Other than that, come back, be sharp, be ready. So, you got your players that stand up and say, let's keep it in line. But then I just think the head coach always gives that stern warning almost.
Mike was good at that, Shanahan. Mike Shanahan was always good at getting up and telling us stuff like that. But I think, too, man, it gets to a point where you as an individual, man, I didn't need Mike. I didn't need London.
Yeah.
It was good to hear that, because I knew it was a lot of guys that wasn't, I guess you can say had a foundation or mentally focused like myself. But, man, I was always glued into what we had to do, what was the task. And even on seasons where it wasn't going well for us.
Them the hardest ones.
I care less about getting away, because I'm like, man, I got to finish. Because like what you just mentioned earlier, folks fail to realize, you got to think about it. I spent 10 years here. And through those 10 years, I had 3 different coaches. I had Gibbs, I had Zorn. My bad, 4 different coaches. I had Gibbs, I had Zorn, I had Mike Shanahan, then I had your boy Jay Gruden. So a lot of those years, we didn't do well.
Yeah.
So if you just say, we ain't doing well, let me
go to California.
Then you don't come back next year. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that right to come back. You don't get that opportunity. So I was always focused on, regardless of what we did as a team, 89 can't put bad stuff on tape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, some seasons don't always work out your way when it comes to numbers. But when they turn that tape on and they see you flying around and see who's playing, I wanted them to always look, okay, we ain't got to look at this kid. We going to look at the next guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I've always paid attention to what I was doing, because I feel like, we playing football, and it's been our childhood game, from day one, but it was my job, and it was something I took serious.
Well, I think also people forget this. It's a big city, little city gist to this. I always say this. People always wonder why Green Bay is good all the time. Pittsburgh is good all the time. And Buffalo is good most of the time. These are, I hate to say it, these are dead cities. Like, these are cities that are very small, and these guys are all football. If you live in Green Bay during a season, you have no off the field things grabbing at you, and the city is not pulling at you. Any of this, they never leave on they breaks. They just, it's wake up football, it's go to sleep football, and I've always tried to tell people, look at these small town teams and the mentality that these guys play with. Sunday is the only thing they got. Monday through Saturday, they have nothing. All right? They don't have the nation's capital. They don't have Miami. They don't have Houston. All right? They are singular focused on only football, and that's a plus. When it comes to sports.
But you can bring that fun to you. We know that you know how to do that.
Of course you can. But when you bring that fun to you, think about it. If you fly somebody in to Green Bay, y'all can't, where y'all going?
They're going right. You better have a nice house.
That's how like I've been saying, so the activity of the players and the lifestyles of the players are totally different. They look forward to the offseason.
I get what you're saying.
And I think that helps them.
Lock
for
in.
18 weeks, lock in.
No, I think that's 100% right. And I think Fred brought up a good point. Like, for me, going to the bye, it was always the coach. Hey, man, protect the team, protect yourself. Remember, don't get in a car if you've been drinking. Like, kind of hitting that checklist of things. Like, don't do that. And then I really felt like coming back, it was
the players.
And I think you have team leaders. Like, obviously, London Fletcher was a big leader for us. But also, I think Tanner brought up maybe the most important point of all those things is it's about the guys on the team. Are they self-starters? Are they self-motivated? Because those are the guys that you don't worry about coming back from the bye. Because they knew how to handle their business in the bye. They're going to be focused. They want to win these last 4 games. And when you have a team of those types of guys, which kind of felt like 2012's team a little bit, like just good dudes, love ball, motivated to come back. Like,
couldn't wait to come back off the bye.
Yeah, then you're going to be all right, I guess is what I'm saying. I think that's I think I'm glad you brought that up, Tanner, because to me, that's the most important thing. And coming off this bye, we're getting ready for the New Orleans Saints. And this team is interesting to say the least.
They feisty. They don't give up, but they beat up.
They are beat up, and let's talk about that for 1 second, because who dat at quarterback for them, right?
Who is that?
Who's going to play?
Who is
Quite
that?
literally, who are you? Right? So there's two guys, Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler. And I actually just watched all of Haener's stuff because he's number one on the depth chart. And he's only got like
a couple of
30 attempts this year.
Yeah, he got 29 attempts.
He does have a little bit of moxie to him, a little bit of competitive advantage. And the thing that I keep thinking about, Tana, and I know you probably think about this too, is just because you don't know who he is doesn't mean he can't play.
No, that's dangerous for a defensive player. Let me tell you something. When I see a guy that, I always tell people this, they be like, are you scared of Randy Moss more than you scared of this other dude? I say I'm scared of the other dude because I've been studying Randy all week. This other dude, I don't got no notes on him. I got no notes on him. I don't know his strengths and weaknesses. I don't know. And he also shouldn't be afraid of me because he playing on house money almost. And when you get a guy that runs out there and his Haynes Jenkins, I'm like, oh, who is this?
Who is that?
And who is this? And how should I go? What's my game plan against him? I have no game plan against him, and that becomes the problem in itself.
Yeah, and in his one start, a couple big time throws, tight windows, like stuff that you want to see from a veteran backup quarterback. Again, not the most talented arm, but confident, trying to get
It's a reason why he on their roster.
Yes, 100%. And I think, again, like it's tough because I think about the Dallas Cowboy game, you know, and Cooper Rush. Oh, we can get Cooper Rush, but if we don't handle what we're supposed to handle, like we don't score points offensively, we let them stay in a conservative game flow. They've got Alvin Kamara. Their offensive line's playing well. Their tight ends are playing well. They can run the football. We can check down Charlie down the field.
Their defense plays some ball too now. They might give up points, but they play some ball. They got the Honey Badger. They got some guys over there.
Yeah, they got linebacker Davis.
DeMario Davis, good player. But I think like that's something you're always talking about, Tana, is it doesn't matter who's out there. They're professional players. And if the game hits right, you could lose the game.
And that's why I'm always big on just handling your business. You see what I'm saying? Like if you handling your business, we care less about the opponent. That was one of my logics to why I didn't watch film on the individual cornerbacks that I was up against. Like I care less. I used to watch the tape and didn't want to even look at the corner. I'm looking at the safeties. I'm looking at the whole defense. I care less of how that corner played because if I'm doing me and I'm reading coverages, then I don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying, you know, what that guy can do well or not. And when you have a guy like Jake coming in here, what is it, Jake Haener?
Haener.
If you got a guy like this coming in here,
Fresno
like you said,
State,
he's definitely playing with house money. I mean, whatever I do is gonna give us a chance. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go out here and will and deal.
And I'm gonna do fearless. I'm gonna be fearless doing it.
That's one of those guys, you gotta punch him in the mouth quick. You gotta make sure
you gotta jump on him
fight out it. Don't even think you coming in here with that, boy. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna be at his home.
Oh, so he's gonna be at home.
He gonna have those guys rallying behind him. They gonna get up for the game, but don't come out there. I know you're gonna get that one off of there.
Yeah, get that one off.
They would call me out going. Like, where is he going? I know you're gonna be in New Orleans, but damn.
I'm thinking we was at the bar and I had a little drink in my hand. Don't come out there half stepping. Let me put it in better. Let me come out there and put it in better context. Don't come out there half stepping and think just because of this guy that you didn't have that much film on, he's gonna come out and lay down.
He a pro too. I always tell people that if they own this roster, they are part of that 1%. And I call it the Byron Leftwich. All right, because
you love this.
We heard that story.
You love this story.
Listen, you want to talk about learn the lesson that day?
He said it.
Listen, I started breakdancing on the field because they were carrying Ben Roethlisberger off the field. You know, Big Ben throwing that thing. And they got Wallace at this time, AB. They got some guys. So I look at London and I'm like,
give him the thumbs up.
I get that.
We got this, coach.
We about to dominate. Coach sent everybody. So I'm telling Greg, we're sending everybody. Leftwich lit us up for 300. He lit us up for 300 and ran us off the field.
I blamed you for that.
I had to get up in the defensive meeting and say, fellas, this one on me right here. My fault, fellas.
Yeah, and so, again, we don't take anybody for granted.
Nobody.
But they are a little banged up at receiver.
Yeah.
Chris Olave may or may not play, right? Their other kind of explosive weapon, number 22, is out.
He's out.
Right?
Yeah, he's been out.
And so one of the things about this offense this year, when you watch them over the course of the season, they do find ways to get explosives.
Yeah.
And so the guy for them is a guy that was on their practice squad to start the year. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is in there kind of making explosive plays. But again, like when that's your main piece, it's probably not the best.
And he's more of a stretch the field guy.
And
that's what he does.
But that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And they find ways to be explosive that way. Yeah. So they're still dangerous. They're not as dangerous as they were.
Alvin Kamara makes them dangerous.
Yeah.
He is a one-man wrecking crew. We know what this guy could do. Come on, we can see this guy score 5-6 touchdowns in the game. Like, he can break a game wide open. And going into that dome, nobody... Listen,
that's a great point.
This is a hard place to play.
It's a tough trip. It's a far trip. It's in New Orleans.
And that's a city that can eat up players. I keep telling people the city has something to do with the victory.
Speaking from experience.
No, I'm just saying, come on, you got your job because Richmond ate me up and chewed me up one night.
Richmond ate New Orleans, I'll tell you that.
But that's what I'm saying. So the city is a weapon also. The 12th man. All right? That's what we call it. The 12th man. Think about this. A city like Las Vegas just got a hockey team 3 years ago. They've been in the championship 2 of the 3 years. You don't think Vegas is chewing some players up and spitting them out?
Probably.
Like Miami has always chewed players up and spit them out. And now you also moved 2 teams to LA. All right, it's some places that will devour you. All right, the 12th man.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you brought up Alvin Kamara, Fred, because their offensive line is young, but they're big and they're pretty physical. Like, they kind of mash on people a little bit. And one of the things that the Commanders have had a hard time with is
stopping the run.
Stopping the run consistently, right? And so, obviously, you can allocate more resources there. Hopefully,
man in the box.
Marshawn Lattimore's playing. You can play a little bit more man coverage, get people down in there. And again, that's not a one-to-one corollary, but it is helpful. But the other thing I kind of think about too is if you can get up on this team and they can't run the football.
Yeah. Now you take their best player out of the game. But then they start throwing it to him.
Yeah.
Like, they start throwing it to Kamara.
But I would rather them, again,
throw it to him.
I would rather that version of this offense.
Yeah.
And again, this to me is the sign of like not a very healthy offense.
Yeah.
Your number one ball carrier is Alvin Kamara, which makes sense because he's your starting running back.
Yeah.
Your number one receiver in terms of targets is who?
Kamara.
And yards.
Yeah. So again, those are not really good indications of a healthy offense.
Yeah.
I want to take him out of this game.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get what's his name? Jake Haener.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball a ton. Let's have him have 50 attempts. I feel like that's a winning formula for the Commanders because even though I think he's in the one start he's had this year, he played well.
Yeah.
Like,
he's still here's a backup for a reason.
I mean, no, go ahead. Finish.
So I was going to say maybe the most important element for us defensively is offensively scoring points.
Yeah.
And just getting the game flow where we want to get it.
Yeah. I think we have to get into a rhythm offensively out the gate. I think that's going to be, to me, the biggest challenge, but at the same time, something that we can do because if we get to doing what we do best, running the ball, behind B-Rob, hitting some of our layups that we do, and put points on the board, now they come out, they're going to press. They're going to try to run the ball because you don't want to put the ball in Jake's hands out the gate and have him sit back there willy-nilly and trying to throw the ball up and down the field. You want Kamara to be a heavy dose of Kamara. Their first 15 script plays, Kamara probably getting 10 touches.
Yeah,
see what I'm saying? Like he probably going to have that kind of a
8 runs and 2 screens.
But once we get up and show them that we ain't here to play no games with them, then now they have to go out there and do something else. It should be one of those games where we say, as long as offensively we get into a rhythm, move the ball, score, not get in the red zone and stutter, go out there and put them touchdowns instead of field goals. We'll have them in our hands because now they're going to try to go out there and try to There's
2 reasons I feel good about Alvin Kamara with this group. I want to introduce him to Bobby Wagner and Frankie Luvu. I think.
Formal introduction?
Just hello. I want to introduce myself. Rydell to Rydell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those 2 guys give me. I feel good if you say, here go the matchup. Like, these linebackers against this guy. Like, now, the one thing we know about Kamara, he can run. One of the fastest running backs in the league.
And he can take over a game.
And he's powerful.
You said this on, what's your Get Loud?
Get Loud
podcast about how he's got a reputation of having these games where he scores 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns.
Easily.
Right?
And he does it all different ways.
And
he's the first back I ever seen that's a slasher with true power. Like, this dude could pull a car, a truck. Like, he is powerful.
Half of the time, he's not even running full speed.
It's just a gallop.
He's skipping. Like, he's setting up people and he know how to burst, set it down. Like, he you know how they have the little thing with them cats in Detroit, Sonic and the other dude,
and Knuckles.
So what is Kamara? He's every bit of all
He's
that. You know what I mean? He
yeah.
bring the power and he got the slash. And,
You know what's funny? He's kind of in the same category, and people don't talk about him this
Saquon.
way. As Saquon, as Derrick Henry.
Yes.
And even Christian McCaffrey, like those kind of true bell cow backs. I mean, he's still, no one talks about him that way, but he is that guy for this team.
No, I think the other three, even though King Henry is that dude, I just think Saquon, McCaffrey, and Kamara has the true receiving part that Henry doesn't have, making them the most complete out of the three. And nobody ever talks about this. All three of them guys pass block. All three of them play. So they don't have to come out. And you'll see a lot of the Ravens taking King Henry out of certain situations where these guys still on the field.
100%. And I think the other thing, too, is when you watch the Giants game, the Giants knew that they want to run the football. They want Kamara to be involved, and they're getting, to their jam front. So, 3 defensive tackles covering guard, center
Two
guard.
tap,
And so what does Joe Wood Jr. do? Does he say, hey, we're going to play our normal defense versus you guys and say, keep everything in front, limit the explosive play, and let our offense kind of win this game for us? Or does he get in heavier box structures, which they've done at times this year versus Pittsburgh is one that comes to mind. But like, what is the solution to stopping the run? And like, how do you walk that line? Because they have had a lot of success this year.
Well, these teams are kind of muddled together. Like, think about it. We have a brainchild here that we could pick with Marshawn Lattimore. He knows everybody on that roster.
That's a great point.
All right. And guess what? They have some of the similar things over there with Chase and some people over there that can leak information. This guy does this well. They really like to do this. Kamara don't like this. So we have some battling internal that, guys are going to give more information than you'll usually have on a person that's not a division foe.
Yeah, but I think also what it's all going to boil down to is just, man, like I say, we can put all that into context and say this is what we have, that's what they have. Go out there and do what you got to do. You know what I mean? This is a team. This is one of those games where it can be on any other sports outlet saying this can be a trap. You know what I mean? Because you're supposed to beat these guys. You see what I'm saying? You can't look at none of these games like trap. All these are playoff games.
These are games.
Every game that you in after this bye is a playoff caliber game, whether the team is good or not. And think about it. Everybody's going to give you their best shot anyway, regardless. You know what I mean?
Because you're the new kid on the block.
Whether they're 4-9, 2-10, you know what I mean? They're going to give you their best. So you got to go out there with that mentality.
Yeah, and so, we talked about the defense quite a bit there and what they have to do versus this Saints offense. Offensively, I think, again, this defense is good. They're not great. They're a little soft in the middle. I think we'll be able to run the football. And when this team, the Commanders, can run the football,
they hard to beat.
It's who they want to be.
Yeah.
So I think like that's something I'd keep an eye on is B-Rob effective early and often, right?
Yeah.
How is the interior of this offensive line playing? Because quite frankly, their interior defensive line, over the course of the season, they've got some good athletes, have not played well in terms of stopping the run.
You know who we got over there? Our guy.
Who there?
Come on now. We traded him. We got a pick for him.
Big John Ridgeway.
We got Ridgeway. But I tell you what,
look at this. Just to give you some context.
Beats balled out.
Beats is a baller.
He blocked that field goal. Yeah.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Brazil. So let me just say this. PFF is not the end-all, be-all for grades.
Yeah.
They do not have a player on the interior defensive line who's grading above 48%. And I'm not saying PFF is the gold
I would say they're not always great.
Yeah.
But
that's
usually it's like, you're aiming with a broken sight. It gives you a pretty good barometer.
Litmus test of what's going on.
And so Brazil, I watched his stuff.
He won.
He may play.
He won that game.
He won that game.
Himself.
He's an athlete, but his pad level is terrible. Yeah. And you can lean on that man and you can put him in the first
bleachers.
row of the bleachers, right?
Well, Biotis is known to win battles like that. The Wild Boars are loose. Let them loose in New Orleans. And let's see, can we make them go to the grocery store, reacquire those bags, and put them right back over their head? People don't remember the Aints when the Saints used to wear the bag over their head.
I know you remember because you grew up down the street.
I grew up down there. Most definitely. Plus, I got uncles that's Saints fans.
Yeah.
And he was like, texted me the other day, do I need to pull my bag out? I like, yes, sir, pull that bag out.
Lord have mercy, man.
And I forgot to say this at the top. So this is bad job by me, and Jason was mad.
Of course it was.
This, right?
Of course
bad
it was.
Bad job, Logan. We have a bake-off coming up, Fred.
Oh, we do, for Christmas, man.
And Zach Selby, it wasn't even really like a bake-off. It was just like Fred won.
Yeah, most definitely.
And so now we've got not intern. Producer Anna for Get Loud.
Yeah.
She's doing the show, and
Colorado.
she beat you last time, right?
No, we set it up for that to happen. Because we
Come
wanted somebody to get a victory.
What did you guys make? I don't even remember.
Maybe pound cake.
No,
or
y'all
something?
made the
Was it lemon cake?
y'all made the other kind of cake, the cake that's at damn, we talked about it the other day at some particular steakhouse that you like to go.
Oh, butter cake.
Butter
Did
cake.
we
There
do
you go.
butter cake?
Yeah, I did
we
butter
did
cake.
butter cake. That's fine.
But I'm saying she kind of took
She
it to
beat you
you.
because I like the hers.
Oh, that's fine. It ain't the first time somebody took it to me.
So, but so we're doing a Christmas bake-off.
Yeah, we're
now.
doing a spread this time. All right, so we're doing like, you could do a cookie, you could do a cake, you could do a extra dessert. So it's really like a platter. All right, so it's like a wonderland.
So are you making multiple things?
I'm making multiple things. You understand? The elf on the shelf is what I'm going by. The elf in the shelf in the kitchen. That's where I be at.
And you were teasing. You were kind of like saying, "Hey, I'm going to bring out my A game. I'm going to bring out what is it? Deviled strawberry."
I'm bringing out these deviled strawberries. Really, it's like strawberries with like cheesecake filling. All right, so when I bring these things out to play, all right, these secret weapons I got, and in my arsenal, I cannot wait for this bake-off. I live for competition. I live for this. Like, my kids know.
I live for this.
They know when Christmas comes, Dad is just extra.
Extra?
Very extra. I like to make the dessert table
extra every day.
I like to make the dessert table look like overwhelming for a kid.
Yeah.
Like I want to make their senses and taste buds just go out. I like them to look at it and say, "Dad, I don't know what I'm finna eat." All right, so I like to do that.
I love when this happens. This is just a little peel behind the veil.
Yeah.
You say something.
Yeah.
Jason has a comment. The microphone comes to his face.
It always happens
He
like
hits the button.
instantly. Like,
and I just, what do we
Jason
got?
we getting?
here go a hater.
No, I'm not hating at all.
okay.
I just wanted to say Anna's no pushover now.
Yeah.
So I'm just
not gonna
saying,
lose to a
you're talking
Colorado
lot, but, well,
again.
you lost the first time. So I'm just saying this isn't a Zach
His
Selby
face.
situation.
Hey, first of all, that ain't the first time I done lost, son. All right? You lose to come back and win.
Yeah,
all right?
it's
I'm
only
all
a
about-
loss if you don't learn from it.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. What I learned is I took her for granted the first time because I was like, she's a millennial. She can't cook.
Took her lightly.
I took her lightly, all right? So now that I know that her family has taught her some baking skills, now I would dust off the book of Smoot and I would go on attack. All right? That's what I'm going to do for this holiday.
Well, I'm really looking
Book of Smoot,
forward to it because I'm the real winner here.
Yeah, you get to get all the food.
Eat all this stuff. So, but I'm rooting for a good matchup. It's going to be a heavyweight matchup. This is going to be on our Christmas Day episode.
Yeah, Christmas Day
Yeah,
episode.
everybody is going to be celebrating Christmas, but we're doing a podcast still.
Listen.
So when you're traveling or whatever, tune in, hear the Bake Off.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be action packed, and I got some stuff that you probably ain't never seen that
Like-
I'm gonna show people.
Like what?
Don't you worry about it. I'm not finna give you a heads up, or you can go tell Anna he's gonna go do
I
this.
should've told Anna.
That's what I'm gonna say. Like you going to tell her certain things that I'm gonna do, and that's fine. Just because she try to mock it, you can't do it at the level that I'm gonna do it.
All right. So we're going to do a little bit audible here because
Yeah.
we just talked about food. Now we're going to talk about a segment we got. Risk It for the Biscuit.
And that's food.
Presented
Biscuit for
by-
the biscuit.
Brisket.
Marsh McLean. That was pretty close, I think.
Yeah,
Especially with the voice
I would
crack.
say your voice is not.
Yeah.
You know.
Agency. Your partner in risk and people strategies. What does that mean? I don't know, but we are thankful that they're sponsoring this segment.
Yeah.
And so let's talk playoff push. What do we got? Think this is a thing?
Risk it or biscuit? Give me a biscuit. All right,
Biscuit?
give me a biscuit. All right, it's nothing for me to risk right there. I think we're rolling into the playoffs.
How many games do you think we need to win?
I want to win all of them. All right, I'm not one of them people that I like to do subtractions, taking one game at a time and try to win all of them. Control your own destiny. Like the worst thing you can do is be a team at the cusp of the playoffs, and you need another team to lose. You don't want to put yourself right there. If we can't get no higher than the 6th seed, so be it. But control what you can control.
Yeah, I look at, some of the opportunities that we have right now going forward, and it kind of put me back into the college football things that's been transpiring with all these teams that can control their own destiny, and then they sitting there waiting to I should be in the playoff.
Yeah.
But no, all you had to do is win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're good enough to beat those teams, then do that. So when it comes to what we have going for ourselves, man, that's all about it. One game at a time. Right now, the most important thing is us going against the Saints. You get that one taken care of, then you can move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Playoffs is down the line. We know it's near.
But we playing playoff ball
I
now.
can smell it and I can taste it at
Yeah.
the same time. As a player, you always got up for those games going into the playoffs because you knew if I don't handle these, I can't get there. You know?
No, and I think that's something that you guys, and I appreciate doing the show with you, is as former players, like it's so important now is a couple things. One, win the next one.
Yeah.
And it's playoff football.
Right now.
Right now.
There's
no compromising,
It's in
right?
the air.
So I know everyone wants to talk about, what about Philly? What about
We don't care.
whoever? What about Dallas? You got to win this one.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it probably takes 2 games to win this thing out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But imagine how hot and how exciting this team would be
Yeah.
if you hit this thing undefeated or on a 3-game winning streak
Yeah,
or
why
whatever
not?
it looks
Yeah,
like.
or
you know what I'm
whatever.
saying?
And they done showed us they can do this.
Yeah.
They showed us they can string together wins. And you're talking about a team that, let's be honest, they have been looking a little tired. All right, so their bye week get you reinvigorated.
Yeah.
All right, and you get to do what I think people don't really hold into account. You get to sit home and watch your peers
Yeah.
for the first time this year and say, because we all have our
yeah.
internal things going on with Tanner. I want more yards than this receiver. I want more picks than this guy. So now I get to sit here and watch you with no bias. Now, and I think that clears your head as a player also.
No, and I also think, like, thinking back to when I was playing and when we were playing, one of the worst things was when you watched a team in the playoffs that you knew you were better than.
Yeah, it's
that
the
was
worst.
incredibly frustrating. And so I think the awesome thing about this right now is, you said this, Fred, we control our own destiny and it's all there for us.
Yeah.
We just got to handle what we got to handle and get this thing done. Okay, so this is another question that I think is really interesting, is should the coaches, should we be more aggressive knowing that we're pushing for the playoffs? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think you need to go out and do something that you didn't do going into the, throughout our season. I think we haven't shown that we're going to go out here and do something that's not us. Play the game that you know how to play. You know what I mean? Like, I think what we have going offensively, defensively, and special teams wise is, these guys play in unison. These guys go out there, and we talk about complementary football. Like, I don't need one side to go do something that's going to be living up to the identity of how we played this game.
Yeah.
Up to this point. Don't get me wrong. If you have a situation where you say 4th and 1, this is on the line, we either going to kick this field goal or take it, then that's up to them to decide. But I feel like you don't have to go out there and show something or be somebody that you're not.
I think it's like when I'm on the highway and I see a Dodge or I see a Tesla, because they always trying to show you how fast their car is. All right, I'm all gas, no brakes right now. All gas, no brakes right now. Pedal to the metal. Ain't no saving nothing.
Yeah.
I want full speed ahead. I want the play callers to be at the top of their game. I want my quarterback, like you have grown through this season, my receivers. I want everybody crossing their T's, dotting their I's. Everything is up for grabs right now. It ain't nothing I'm holding back. The whole playbook is open. I'm full speed ahead, all gas, no brakes. Give me a biscuit.
With that being said, though, my question to you.
Do love a biscuit, though.
I'm not saying you can be all. I'm not saying we're not all gas with playing how we've been playing. I'm just saying you don't want to put yourself in a situation where I'm doing something
too much
that's going to cost me the win instead of me just going out there.
I totally understand what you're
saying.
saying.
And
yeah, and I was going to say, like, I went back and for a project we're going to do for the Command Center show.
Yeah,
like Jaden's progression is going to be on the show this week for a video breakdown. And one of the things is you go through all the plays and you see how aggressive they were versus Cincinnati and all these 4th down decisions early in the year.
Yeah,
and one of the things is, like, I'm not saying we need to get back to that.
Yeah.
But use the bye week as an opportunity to say
self-scout
and be like, hey, we can take advantage of this because of Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
If it's there.
And again, like, our 4th down percentage is amazingly high this year. It's 86.67%. We're tied for first in the NFL with Buffalo.
Yeah.
And they got Josh Allen, right?
Yeah.
So can we weaponize that? Can we? I'm not saying we go Dan Campbell where it's like we're going for every 4th down.
Every 4th down eligible.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're going for it. No, I'm not saying that. But let's, like, look at our list, look at our sheet and be like, hey, let's be all gas in terms of our preparation.
Yeah.
And when that moment comes up,
no brakes.
Let's hit it.
No doubt.
Let's go hit that thing out of the park. So I think that's one that's really easy. And then also I love what Fred said too, because it's that there's situational aggressiveness.
Yeah.
But as a play caller, like, and it's, you don't want to go sell the farm, but you want to make sure, like, hey, like, we're pushing the envelope here.
Setting some things up.
Yeah.
I'm showing you this because I'm going to give you this.
I think, too, defensively, just from the sake of having a different corner out there that probably can do something different than what we had.
Let you blitz a little bit more.
We might see something different a little bit that's going to make us scratch our head and say, well, is this being aggressive or not? Because I think when you have that,
I can call it a different game
You
as
can
a
call it
coach.
a different game.
I can
Bingo.
call it a whole different game.
Bingo.
100%. And so I think that's going to, again, we're excited for the playoffs. Can't wait to watch this team. But in the meantime, we got to take care of
Our
New Orleans.
business.
The Saints.
Just us.
And
Who
that's,
that?
and that's going to lead us to hell yeah.
And
Hell no.
Exactly. Okay. So in this game, the first one of our playoff push,
Yeah.
the defense does not allow more than 20 points.
Against the Saints.
Yes.
Hell yeah. They don't allow them to score over 20. Should I be saying hell no?
No, you're saying defense does not allow more than 20 points. That would be a hell yes.
Hell yes. They will. I just think with the quarterback situation and with the wide receiver situation,
Yeah, it's-
allowing
it's-
us to
it's two-factor,
simplify
yeah.
who to stop, when, and where, with our offense being very defensive,
Yeah.
I will say, hell yes, we can hold the Saints under 20 points.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. So I totally agree. And the reason I say that is because I think we're going to be able to run the football offensively. We're going to be able to score a lot of points. We're going to put them in a bad spot. And like Fred said, they got a quarterback who I think has some ability.
Yeah.
But they're banged up at receiver. And they really want to be offensively what Kyle Shanahan is. They want to run the ball early.
And open up play action.
Open up play action. But if you can kind of slow them down and force them to do a lot of drop back stuff,
That ain't who they are.
that ain't who they want to be.
Yeah.
Who that?
And so
Who dat?
I think if the game flow goes according to plan, they
Yeah.
get support from the offense. I think they might hold them to 10.
Yeah.
I think it's that kind of day for the defense. All right, second one. Terry McLaurin grabs another touchdown.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes.
Hell to the yeah,
Because
yeah,
we got
yeah.
your best corner on our team. Listen to me. The guy that was going to stop him, his old Ohio State mate. All right, people forget that these guys played in college
is
together.
true, yeah.
All right? So if anybody can stop
Came in
you,
together,
it's a
too.
guy that used to practice with you every day. But, you gave him to us.
Yeah.
So now your best chance to slow down our best weapon is got on burgundy and gold.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. He gets those yards.
Well, you know how this game is. I mean, you could put a cloud on a guy like Terry, but I think going forward,
Which they have done. Which the
exactly.
Saints do.
Teams have done that plenty of times. But going forward, if we want our best effort on offense, you have to go through 17.
Yeah.
He's shown you time and time again when our offense is hitting on that high note like that Whitney Houston high note. You know what I'm talking about? We're there's some kind of way 17 is involved in our offense.
I can stop that cloud by simply moving him into the slot.
Oh yeah, but we know we haven't done a good job of moving him at times.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they did last week.
Yeah,
which
I
was
was say they did
encouraging.
last week.
which
So
was better.
And Tana brings up a great point versus Malik Neighbors last week. That's what they did. They clouded him, right?
Clouded him.
Yeah.
Corner underneath, safety over top. And that makes it tough to throw the ball over there. But if that does happen, that's Terry helping you out in a different
opening
way.
up
Yeah,
other
opening up for
people.
somebody else.
And it's two, like I told you, it's two ways to beat that cloud. And that's move him inside and motion him across the formation. And it really makes him have to talk.
Or change his position. Take him out of X and put
To
him
put
in
a
Z.
Z.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We've done that plenty of times.
And I'm not a
myself.
smart man. But
Yes, you are. You're very
but I'm a
intelligent.
simple man.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when you play cloud coverage?
Yeah.
You got less guys in the box.
Yeah, I'm running at you.
Let's say B-Rob, man, you got these defensive
B-Rob.
tackles that are good athletes, but they
Yeah.
can't sit the run.
Yeah.
Let's get you out of that cloud. Let's help Terry out. And then when they do get out of the cloud, which they do,
Yeah.
it's an explosive play.
I honestly believe too, and I know this is getting us, off topic a little bit with
Let's take
the fast surface and just knowing how their run defense is. I think it's going to be a nice day for B-Rob. I'm just going to put that out there.
Well, I can see B-Rob and Honey Badger having some collisions. And
Yeah, but-
I got my money on B-Rob
Hey,
to finish that.
Honey Badger, 190 pounds.
That's
soaking
what
wet.
I'm telling you.
So,
But they play him in the box.
Yeah, but if you don't want that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're going to be able to cut through them like butter because they do have Pete Warner, the guy from Ohio State,
Yeah.
linebacker, good playing well, and Demario Davis.
And
Both
Davis,
those
yeah.
guys are
Davis
playing really
been doing
well.
it for
Davis-
decades.
Davis been balling.
But I just feel
He a
it.
Mississippi
I feel
boy.
it, man. And if you can run the ball, it's going to open up the whole offense. And I do think even if Terry doesn't score, what we saw last week, how getting him involved in critical situations, third down, red zone, backed up situations, he's going to be super productive and super
I'm
helpful.
gonna throw a loop. I'm gonna throw something at you right quick. I think it's time for McCaffrey to get his first touchdown. I think it happens in New Orleans.
Wow, this is a Fred
Yeah.
Fred audible.
That's all I'm saying.
Hot route.
Run to your local casinos and put it all on the line. Risk
Hell
it
yeah,
all.
hell no. What you got, Tanner?
Don't put the house on.
Risk it all.
Yeah, I mean, he was close. What was that against Dallas? He was
Yeah,
close,
I
right?
He stay getting close.
But see, I just think you know it don't take but one play to get you really over that hump. And if they going to pay as much attention to Terry as they paid to Malik Neighbors, somebody's going to sneak out there. It won't be Noah Brown because everybody knows who Noah Brown is. Like, he's a part of their offense. Yeah. But a guy like McCaffrey, all right, can slip through there and make some plays.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know if he's going to get his first touchdown, but I'm excited. Him, Ben Sinnott, same thing, kind of that fourth element of the offense that could be effective and productive. But
don't forget about our guy now, Ertz. He's been killing it the last.
Dude, I said fourth element, so we got Terry.
Oh, okay, you said fourth element. Okay, you said fourth element. My bad. I didn't hear the fourth.
I'm not going to forget about the tight end.
Yeah, I didn't hear the fourth.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a cricket in your throat.
You didn't forget about it.
It sounds like a cricket to you?
Yeah,
what kind of crickets you been talking to?
You know, I go fishing a lot with crickets. I talk to them all the time.
You do every goddamn thing. Come on, man. Move on. Damn dude.
You want to do a story? You want to do
everything.
You know, I was out fishing on the bank the other day talking to a cricket.
A story something that he done.
So you about to sacrifice so I can eat catfish.
Yeah, he wanted to go on a side quest. And it's like, we're done. Outline's done. Let's get out of here.
Next he gonna be saying, yeah, I need you when I go fishing because, you know, when you talk horse, the fish start coming to the water.
No. Listen, I'm going to tell you now. I'm such a good fisherman.
Oh, my God, bro.
When I walk past the water and the fish know I'm present, they just jump out the water and commit suicide. I don't even bring a pole when I fish. I just bring a bucket.
Oh, my God, this dude.
You know, there are things that, for peeling the curtain back, that Fred does rehearse ahead of time, like little bits, little sound
No,
bits.
I don't.
He's never rehearsed that. I've been around him, heard that before. It just comes out.
Yeah.
And it's so surprising when it's original and new. It's just like, who you heard, someone told you that before.
No.
Someone used that on you
No,
before.
Listen. My uncle said you are a blessed fisherman, son.
I gotta go meet that uncle because I think he get a lot of material from that uncle.
No,
dude.
Gotta go
Call the uncle up and it's
Listen.
all, parallels will tell a lie, the whole thing.
My uncle was like, we meeting to go fishing. He was like, where's your pole? I don't need no pole.
Your uncle said that or you said that, Joe?
No, he's still here. And guess what? I don't need no pole.
That's what your uncle said.
No, do what I say. My uncle got his pole, cane pole, and his reel.
Cane pole.
I bet you his uncle said it.
No, I literally
meet that uncle.
When I walk out there, it's like, listen, the fish, they understand that Tom Sawyer, the late third cousin of Huckleberry Finn, is here.
Your material is so old, I can bet it's somebody in your family that you just sat there and soaked up everything he said and came.
My grandma was the character. My
I
grandma was the character now.
Somebody gave you all that material, man. You got too much juice.
Hey,
bro.
when they see Huck Finn coming, they see Huckleberry coming.
Is he known for fishing?
Who Huckleberry? Yeah. That's how young you are.
No, okay.
You don't even know who Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn
Chill
are.
out, man.
Come on, dude.
You chill out.
Do you not know who these people are?
Yes, they're literary people written in a novel by Mark Twain.
I'm finna say, come on,
so
dude.
Chill out.
All
right. But is he known for fishing?
Saw his intelligence.
Huck did everything, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get too far off that,
I am the Daniel Boone Award winner, 23 years in a row.
Daniel Boone?
Yeah, I won the Daniel Boone Award. I've won it consecutively 33 years.
Y'all letting me know when we gonna finish.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Fred. Tanner, thanks for keeping us on schedule.
I'm sorry for bringing it up. Did I do that? Did I do that?
You brought up fishing, didn't you?
That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for listening and the support. Please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to see us, our ugly faces, check us out on YouTube. That's going to do it for today's show. We're out.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Great line. Oh, my God.